Hey guys, it's Hal, and I wanted to come here today to share some information with you. Recently, Keller Williams has taken a very bold stand to try to address some of the issues that are occurring out there in the world as it relates to racial tensions and issues of discrimination. And in an open letter back in June, many of you remember that Gary Keller had taken the stand that said, the truth is this, that racial injustice still persists. And in order to change that, it's really critical to not only say something about it, but actually do something about it. And that kind of set the wheels in motion for some changes within our organization. And I'm proud to say that we've made some good ones and some big ones. Last week, prior to the beginning of MegaCamp, our International Agent Leadership Council voted unanimously to revise our company's belief system, the Y4C2Ts, that has been the anchor for what we believe in since the inception of this company. We've modified that to include a plank for equity, opportunities for all people. And that doesn't just mean opportunities within the organization. That doesn't just mean opportunities for all of our agents. It also means opportunity for all people, for all homeowners in the communities that we live in. And I think it's a big step to include equity into our belief system. Additionally, the vote unanimously was to also include a new committee position at the local Agent Leadership Council level. The new Committee on Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion will address the issues of how do we live out at the local level our dream, our vision to be as inclusive as we can as agents and as a company. And, as agents, one of the things I think it's important for us to take a look at is to constantly go back and look at what is my practice and am I living up to the very best aspects of what I want in terms of fair housing, in terms of anti-discrimination. And there's a couple of areas today that I wanted to share with you. There was a study not too long ago. It was released in 2019. And it was a study conducted by Newsday, a newspaper out on Long Island. And in Long Island, they reviewed for 3 years. They did sort of a pair-tested undercover investigation to see how do real estate agents really treat different folks of different backgrounds. Over 3 years, there was 93 real estate agents that were tested. All different companies were involved in this. It was pair testing so that the same agent had an opportunity to serve a white client and a client of color. Over 240 hours of undercover videos and over 5763 listings analyzed. And here's what the study revealed. Even today in 2020 or in the late 2000 teens, what the findings showed is that real estate agents displayed unequal treatment to their clients. Asians received unequal treatment 19% of the time, Hispanics 39% of the time, and Black Americans received unequal treatment from our industry 49% of the time, guys. That's almost half. And we start to think about that and we start to think, how does that happen? How can that happen in our culture today? And I think it's complicated. What the Long Island study sort of showed some common problem areas included areas of steering clients into specific neighborhoods. Now we know that that's things that we've learned about in real estate school. We learned about redlining. We learned about steering. We learned about how inappropriate that can be. And yet, sometimes the subtleties of our behavior can kind of put us into problematic spots. It looked at discriminatory practice in client financing, right? Do we treat all of our clients the same way when we ask them to produce financial documents? So I want to just share with you some videos here that came from the actual recorded footage of agents, and just to kind of show you the kinds of things that can lead us into problematic areas. Now, I do realize that sometimes the audio on these videos is not perfect because these are undercover videos, guys, and so it may not be perfect. But if you listen carefully, and most of these videos also do have some subtitles so you can really, really see and hear what's being said. The first one I want to talk about has to do with steering. So let's just watch.
You don't really know certain areas that you're going to get next door. Follow the school bus. That's what I always say. Follow the school bus. See the moms that are hanging out on the corners. I can't say anything, but I encourage you. I want you to go there at 10 o'clock at night with your wife. Go to that 7-Eleven. They didn't buy there.
No, that's great.
I have to say it without saying it, you have the knowledge of the areas,
Yes.
Guys, I think if you take a look at that video, you can start to see that, she didn't specifically steer from the standpoint of saying, I will only show you these neighborhoods or I won't take you to that neighborhoods. But follow the school buses, right? Go out and shop in that neighborhood at 10 o'clock at night. See who's waiting around with the moms when you get home. Those are areas that become really, really problematic. The question becomes, what was it about those neighborhoods? Who did she expect that white buyer to see when they shopped at night that caused her enough concern that she felt the need to raise that up onto that radar screen? Would she have done the same thing to a Black or Hispanic client? And as the pair testing reveals, the answer was no, she didn't. One of the things that we just have to recognize is that when we encourage people to even just do their due diligence, to go and decide for yourself, you decide what you're comfortable with, and then I'll decide which homes might meet your criteria. When we do that in a way that's inconsistent, we run the risk of sort of falling subject to our own biases. And that can get us into some problematic areas. That can get us into areas where, in fact, we can be discriminating.